And we're recording.
Welcome to Conjure the Cocktail. I'm Angela Lovell. I'm a psychic medium, a podcaster, witch, and I'm a little bit boozy.
And I'm Prairie Rose. I am a booze writer and consultant, and I'm a little bit witchy. So Conjure the Cocktail merges witchcraft and craft cocktails. And today we're excited to talk about something that really has a perfect crossover, wormwood. It's an ingredient that has long been used in witchcraft and in the booze industry.
Yeah.
People think of wormwood, a lot of people think of absinthe, right?
Yes.
That's like the first thing people think of is
always
absinthe, right? Yeah, and it's interesting to me because it's an herb, and it's medicinal, and but it's been used as a flavor agent from anything from wine to beer to spirits for hundreds of years.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. And so, I mean, it's absolutely, Grand Wormwood is the definitive ingredient in absinthe. But a lot of people don't know this. Vermouth, like your white vermouth that you have in your martini, your red vermouth in Manhattan, all kinds of cocktails call for vermouth. It's a fortified wine. It's a wine base, and it has herbs and spices, and it's been made for hundreds of years. The word vermouth is the German word for wormwood.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I just bought some vermouth yesterday.
You did?
Yes. I know. I was like, well, if we're going to be talking about it, I'm going to need to be drinking it.
And so, I mean, a little, fun fact is that in Europe, you can't make vermouth without including wormwood. So absinthe had a 100-year ban on it because of wormwood. And yet this whole time, people have been ingesting it.
Did you read about the smear campaign that absinthe went through? Did you read about this?
A lot. Yeah.
Yes, you have.
So
yeah.
Absinthe we're going to have an absinthe episode because that is such a big, rich subject matter. And I'm just going to touch on that. But it was banned for nearly 100 years because people thought, oh, it's hallucinogenic. We're going crazy. It was a smear campaign from mostly the wine industry in the 1800s because there was a huge epidemic called the phylloxera epidemic that eviscerated 90% of the wine grapes in Europe, so they couldn't produce wine or brandy. And
oh my God.
They turned to absinthe. Absinthe was the drink of choice in the late 1800s. They were drinking.
What a time to be alive.
It's true. They were drinking so much in France. They were like having hundreds of thousands of liters a year. I mean, it was crazy. Their aperitif hour was like, they called it the vert or something, the green hour.
Oh, I love it.
That Lucy green color, it's so beautiful. The green fairies.
Yep.
To it. So wormwood's not hallucinogenic. It has a compound in it called thujone. And in very, very high doses, it's a neurotoxin. So it is poisonous, like many things, It's part of the same genus as sage and mugwort. Sage is like 100 times more poisonous, apparently.
Yes, and magically speaking, and I'm going to touch on this, but you should not burn sage in your home. Everybody goes sage crazy, and it is a huge, big problem because sage is like spiritual bleach. It wipes out your protection, and people aren't resetting intention and putting up their barriers. So whenever you sage, you're basically removing everything, and then like bad stuff can come in. So yes, sage is dangerous. Stay away from sage.
I mean, sage is powerful, and it should be used in the right ways, right?
Yep, absolutely.
And, that's the thing. It's like, and so I am actually going to make a vermouth cocktail because Carpano Antica, this is a beautiful European vermouth.
I love that one.
Right? It's been around for hundreds of years. They kind of started the vermouth craze in the 1800s. And I think they might have coined the word vermouth. I'm not positive on it, but it's a wine base, and its main ingredients are, herbs, a little burnt sugar, and wormwood. So wormwood's bitter. It's a bitter flavor, and the thing about vermouth, really good vermouth, is you want to have it on its own, like drinking it on the rocks with like a little, grapefruit peel.
Oh yeah.
Is like, I'm gonna just add a little tonic, a little fever tree tonic to it with a little peel of grapefruit, and it's gonna be gorgeous.
Nice.
So, but another thing about wormwood, which is, I think is so interesting, is that, I was on your podcast where the magic happens, right? And I talked about sort of the beginning of these witch tropes that we have with the black pointy hat and the broom and the black cat and the cauldron. All of that stems back to beer making. And that beer, the main ingredient in that kind of beer was wormwood.
Of course.
Like Shakespeare wrote about it, Dickens wrote about it. And so there's a direct tie to witchcraft, beer making, wine making, spirits, all of that. I mean,
they call wormwood the witch's plant. It's like this. These are just two of the bags of wormwood I have in my stash. Every time I restock herbs, I buy more wormwood because it is like the most universal. Just like vermouth can go in everything,
It's true. All right, so I'm just buying this. So this is just like 2 ounces of vermouth, and then maybe equal parts the fever tree tonic, and I'm just going to do a peel. That's it.
Lovely.
That's my cocktail. So,
oh my God, sounds amazing. It really does. Just like, I'll drink anything, but that does sound really good.
So I love that there is. I'm going to just do a little twist.
Make it pretty. Yeah.
Rim. All right. Cheers. Cheers, witches.
Cheers, witches. So fun stuff as far as wormwood and magic.
Yeah.
So it does so much. For starters, whenever you want to burn sage for, like let's say you're gasping and you're like, I had no idea and I'm burning sage all the time. I actually moved into, my apartment in Echo Park.
Yeah.
I moved into that right behind my friend who was burning sage every day.
Oh my God.
And for anybody who loves to believe in this stuff, I had literal trolls in the apartment. There were no protections. I had to set all this kind of protection.
And you also was disappearing all the time, right?
Oh my God, yes. There was so much. And there are ghosts in there. They're all pretty good. Like everybody, I've set my boundaries. We should do an episode on protection because I can tell people how to lock down their walls and everything. Because it is honestly so easy. Whenever people are like, I'm being tormented, I'm like, just do this. So I love to burn wormwood because it does what people think sage does without bleaching, without totally obliterating anything else, all the good intention, all the other stuff. So you can purify any negative energy. So one thing I really like to do is you can put it in your shoes. It attracts luck. It attracts love, all these things. But let's say you have a job you hate. Even right now, if you're working from home and you're Zooming with people who are just on your last nerve, just keep a little bag of wormwood. Like just put some, let's be smart about our colors, like whatever you're trying to attract with it. I'm going to show you guys a spell later. That's really easy, but I just have like all these pretty little bags with different colors. And this one is really good for, we're going to do one on dreams since, wormwood is so dreamy and absinthe and all of it is so dreamy. But if you just keep a little bag or just a little bowl of wormwood that you sprinkle next to your laptop, next to your workspace, it really helps absorb the negativity of other people. It helps kind of clear it. You can burn that same wormwood later. If you have a meeting with someone you can't stand, burn that wormwood up afterwards. It's great in love spells. It's any like persuasion. Like if you want to make your boss like you more, or you want to attract love. Like,
where can you get it? Can you get it online?
Oh, yeah,
Like
you can get it
easy, right?
Yeah, super, super easy. My good friends own the Crooked Path in Burbank in Los Angeles, and they have an online shop, and all of their stuff is very potent. It's hard sometimes to find like a good online witch store, but theirs is great.
And then do you know how much you can use since it is potent? Like,
oh, you can use, yeah, you can use a lot. It is more powerful than mugwort. And to touch on mugwort, I do drink mugwort tea. Oh, there it is. I set a tea bag out to show you.
oh, yeah.
Mugwort tea, you can just buy it. I mean, like anywhere. It's amazing. And I just have all these little mugwort tea bags. So even, let's say you want to do this. So the spell I'm going to give you guys, it's super simple. You get a blue bag because we're going to be doing psychic stuff. And I would suggest an amethyst crystal to anybody just starting out. This is a super 7. This is a lot of different crystals, can really blast you off. I'm going to put this in mine because
it could really blast you off.
Yeah, really. I'm acting like it's a drug, but crystals they have a lot of properties like moldavite. The first time I was around moldavite, my chest turned beet red and I started sweating. And the second time I bought a ring, I was like, oh, this is for me. I bought this ring. The second time I wore it, my heart was racing so badly. I had to pull my car over and just sit for a moment and like take the moldavite off and be like, oh my God, maybe I'm not ready. Potent crystals are amazing. They're great tools. Some people have more sensitivity to them. So that's why I'm saying, start with amethyst. It's very gentle. It's really good for psychic development. If you've been at this for a while, get a super 7. Just put it in your little blue bag. Now, if you, like a lot of us, want to know what the hell is coming next, you should listen to my other podcast. This is where the magic happens because I do make a lot of predictions. But just want something basic like, am I going to have a partner next year? Am I going to get a better job? Right now, when I'm giving psychic readings, our guides are only showing us the good stuff. Like, I'm like, well, I don't have any warnings, don't have any bad news because they're only showing me.
They know we only hear the positive stuff.
It's true. They're just like, get excited. All this. Yeah. I'm like, wow, 2021 looks amazing. But I know they're also only showing me the good stuff.
Right.
But if you have something very specific you need to see to get you through this time, I would write out a little petition. I'm a big advocate of petitions because it sounds like Dear Diary a lot of the time. But when you make your intention clear, like even if it's just I want to see that I don't need to be afraid of what's coming next. Make your intention clear. Write it out. I like to write my petitions in the round. So like you start around the edges and you just write in a little circle, and then you put like the word that means the most to you in the middle, which could just be premonition, psychic abilities, whatever you're trying to do with this bag. But roll it up and stick it in here with a bunch of mugwort and your crystal.
Nice.
And then, today is the new moon. So new moon is the perfect time to start setting intention to start a new cycle of things you want. But just put this under your pillow or put it under your bed or whatever. And before you go to sleep, connect to your crystal in the bag and just say, I want good dreams. Also, this is one of the things about amethyst too is, the super 7 also will honestly help you not have nightmares. If you have nightmares from this, I personally don't have nightmares because I'm an A-type control freak alpha. So even in my dreams, like if a car hits my dog, I'm like, nope. And the dog is fine. Like I have no idea how. Maybe I'm missing things because of this.
Sometimes too, I do like a little rewind. I'm like, nope, it's not going to happen.
Virgo. Yes, absolutely.
No, come for me. We're going to stop that.
Yes, exactly. So, just set your intention. And if you do have bad dreams, that's okay. You don't have to do this. Maybe there's a different crystal that you want to try with it. But yeah, just set intent before you go to bed. This is also the time I always tell people to connect with their guides. Your guides are going to show you what you most need to know. When I give readings, I always say, show me only what you want them to know because I'm going to tell them everything. Yeah. So just ask them, like, be gentle. I'm going through this. You have to ask them to help. They can't just intervene on their own. You really have to activate your guides like you do your crystals, like everything else. But yeah, just set intention. If you're going to do this right. Keep a dream journal. Oh, and I almost forgot. Mugwort tea. So, mugwort, wormwood, hand in hand.
Yeah.
Wormwood.
Right. So, like, isn't they're part of the same genus? right? Like they
Yes.
are part, like sage, mugwort, and wormwood are all under the same umbrella. There's like hundreds of.
Yeah, mugwort refers to over 200 plants in this genus.
I see.
And yeah, so but
That's
wormwood
the
is,
umbrella, and then
yeah,
sage and wormwood are part of the mugwort genus,
yes,
right?
yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
yes, and it makes sense too because like mugwort tea is it is kind of like it can stimulate if you have a uterus. It can make you have a period. It can do a lot of different things. Yeah, and it's mostly pretty gentle. It's not for everybody, but if I need prophetic dreams, I will drink a cup of mugwort before I go to bed. I'll put this under my pillow. I've kind of put my dreams on hold for a minute. I'm just not dreaming right now, which is not great. You will also find if you dream in black and white or you don't have a lot of dreams, you will really dream doing this. Like you'll see a lot. But yeah, drink your cup of tea, set your intention before you go to sleep. But if you're going to do this and they are serious about this stuff, like they give us stuff and they take it away, keep a dream journal because you will not remember. There is a part of our brain that scrambles everything as we wake up. So
you think you're going to remember, you wake up and you're like, wow, that was really, it's gone.
It's gone. The moment your feet hit the ground, gravity pulls the memories out of you.
I've never been good at keeping a dream journal. That's something
I know.
Like I need to do. It's just like the last thing I want to do when I wake up is like write.
I know. And I'm always like, but I want to pee first. But as soon as I pee, it's gone. So I try to just scribble out things.
It's true. That's interesting.
I pee out my dreams, apparently. I'm just pissing my dreams away. So some other stuff about wormwood. Oh, and I was going to say, because Prairie and I are going to do a retreat in New Orleans. We're going to do many retreats, but we're doing one on mediumship in particular. We will absolutely be working with wormwood at the seance night because we're going to have at least one seance in New Orleans. But won't it be amazing to serve wormwood cocktails and burn wormwood? I can't say these words together.
Burn wormwood. Say that 10 times.
Burn wormwood. Yeah, but if you like, especially right now, ancestors are coming in. We're getting a lot of hand holding. As it gets closer to Samhain, Halloween, the veil gets thinner. So we're all really connecting with our loved ones who have passed on. They're coming in hot right now. Wormwood is a great one to connect with the dead. There's like there's this old saying about if you burn it in a cemetery, the dead rise and start talking. Here's my thing with that.
And there's a lot of cemeteries in New Orleans.
Oh my God. We're going to go to one. Yeah.
Cemeteries, right?
Yes. We're going to we're not going to do that because I don't like to manipulate the dead, but we're going to go and gently connect with because they are haunted. And cemeteries are haunted with people who aren't even buried there because they know that's a hot spot for people trying to connect with the dead. So you get a lot of right? You get a lot of you get a lot of fucked up lonely ghosts, and it could be ghosts are always like that one lady on the plane who wants to talk to everybody because she's so lonely. Ghosts are like that. I know, it's really sad. I'm also working on learning how to send them into the light because it's not even that hard to get them to go forward. But when we go to the cemetery, we'll do something gentle. I wouldn't recommend going to a cemetery and burning this stuff because you can make somebody mad and they will attach themselves to you and then you'll have a whole mess to clean up.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, just don't do that. Don't manipulate the dead. But yeah, wormwood is great for a lot of things. It is lethal if consumed in excess.
But that's a lot.
Don't
you gotta consume a lot of it for it to be lethal.
Yeah. I also you can get oils of these things and do boop third eye before you go to bed if you really want to blast off. I always anoint my third eye with different things depending on what I'm doing because I'm like, well, I want to see how this is gonna pan out. But yes, especially if you're pregnant, you probably shouldn't be drinking anyway. I mean, I'm not going to get all judgy about it, but not these days. I'm like, how are pregnant women not drinking right now? I'm just kidding. I'm not encouraging this. But, this was great. I actually read a lot of people do yoni steams with wormwood. And I thought, because I do a lot of rose quartz yoni crystal egg because anybody with
the vagina, for those of you that don't know.
Oh, yes. Yeah, it's like the tantra word for vagina. I think it's tantra. But it is a source for a lot of pain for a lot of women, like, you know, exes and whatnot. It is a source of pain.
Well, it
So
is. So wormwood is it helps aid in digestion, and it is
mhm.
medicinal. So it can help with cramps too. So
Yes.
I could see how that would be kind of helpful. I mean,
Yeah.
I've never done the yoni stuff, but I could see how, if you were trying to ease some of that pain,
hmm
it
I
might.
was very anti yoni steam, and then I was like, oh, but if you're going to throw witchy herbs into it, oh man, like, flip the
Maybe
script on
I'm
that.
on board.
Yes, I love it. It does protect you. What's funny is it's considered the witch's plant. It also will protect you against witchcraft. So if somebody comes for you, if another witch comes for you, wormwood is your go-to. Um, in Greece, it was considered the plant of immortality, used against the evil eye, which is also a form of protection.
And then it's part of Artemis was what's the connection there? Do you know about that?
I'm pretty sure Artemis is the one who said who said it protected against the evil eye and would
Okay,
drive devils away with it.
because
I'm
that's what
pretty right, wasn't it Artemis?
I think that's what the whole botanical name is. It's named after Artemis. Artemis
Hmm,
thing. Yeah. So
I
when you
like that.
I know.
Yeah, it's a great one. It's really, really great. It's funny because it is like a step herb. So adding it to any spell is going to amplify your spell, which is why I always have so much of it. But also it can call in ghosts and it can send ghosts away.
Hmm.
Whatever and this is like the number one thing with witchcraft: intention. It's always about your intention. You have to be clear. You can't just slap through a spell and be like, there, I did it. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
You got to want it so badly. I have all these people asking me to do love spells on their behalf, and I'm like, I don't want anything to do with that. Also, if you pay someone to do your love spell, it's barely going to work because they're not in love. They don't have the passion for this person. Also, don't manipulate people with magic. I've tried it as a child, as a teenager. I was like 20, but still, it's
Well, I
not
feel
great.
like that's like one of the first spells that like young people do.
Yes.
Love spell. Yeah.
I have done them with great success and with huge failure. So keep that in mind. I mean, do whatever you want, honestly, but just remember that karma is real,
Just
even for witches.
it's true.
Maybe even more so.
Oh,
I'm good. I think that covers all my wormwood stuff.
yeah. I mean, it's such a rich subject that
Mm-hmm.
we could go deep down into how it's been used in beer making and wine. I mean, wormwood wine was so popular uh, that vermouth came out of that because of
Ooh.
popularity. And
Oh, that's a hot tip for people who are not as boozy as Prairie. A lot of people don't realize that vermouth needs to be kept in the fridge after you open it.
oh
It
yeah,
is
thank
it
you.
is a wine. It will go bad.
I will. This is my mantra forever for people is put your vermouth in the refrigerator because it's a wine. You treat it like a wine. It's a fortified
Mm-hmm.
wine, and so you don't want to keep it on your bar cart because that's why people don't like vermouth. People think that
Yep.
vermouth tastes funky because guess what? It's turned. It got
Yep.
real funky on your bar
Yep.
cart. So and you just it's one of those things you don't drink. I mean, I tend to drink vermouth more than the average person, but it's not something the average person does drink every single day. So if you're
Mm-hmm.
going to keep it, I keep it longer than you're probably supposed to in the
I
fridge.
do too.
But and it's fine. Like I've had this for a few months now, and it tastes it tastes delightful. So, and
It's
I'm just
also a
excited
very
to
nice
share.
one.
What'd you say?
It's also a very nice one. I would expect the shelf life on that better than others.
Yes, the Carpano Antica is really a real flagship vermouth. It's a yeah, and so yeah, I think that's it. And we are going to do it, like I mentioned, we are going to do a separate absinthe episode because I know that people have so many questions around absinthe, and we'll talk about wormwood again and talk about whether or not it makes you hallucinate and all that stuff, which it doesn't, but we will talk about why that sort of came to be. But that's going to be a fun episode, I think.
Yeah. Oh, I love absinthe.
Yeah, I do too. The Green Fairy.
I know. It makes me want to watch Moulin Rouge again.
I know. It's like there was something magical about that time period. The artists and the bohemians, and there was a lot of horrible things that were happening at that time too.
Oh, yeah.
But it was a really free time for a lot of artists and creatives, and so much exploded in that world. But
yeah, maybe because of absinthe, who knows?
well, that they attribute it to that.
Wasn't it 70% alcohol? Wasn't it like crazy?
No, it's higher. It's so your average spirit, like your whiskey, is going to be on average about 80%, so 40 proof.
Oh, I am way off.
Yeah. So but absinthe was traditionally at least 100 proof and more. Sometimes 140 proof. Like you're talking like Everclear. And the reason why it was such a high proof, so high in ABV, is that it's supposed to be watered down. It's supposed to have water added to it. So it's a really concentrated herbal formula.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the ritual of adding the water to it, and then it turns that beautiful louche color, right? When that's when the water hits all of the herbs and they bloom.
Ooh.
So, yeah. So
I am having a very crazy memory that I will have to tell you about because it's not YouTube appropriate. The one time I had real absinthe and what followed, I'm like, oh my God, wait, I'm understanding now.
Yeah. And we'll talk about that. Like, what is it? Is it just the alcohol, or what is in those herbs, and how does that, how does that affect you? So,
yeah.
Well, this was this is one of my favorite. I'm using my resist glass from Love and Victory. I don't know if you can see.
It's lovely. Yes, I would love it.
I have a resist and persist that was given to me by our friend Joy Barrett.
Aww.
And appropriate since we are heading into the real political season right now.
Today is election day in Florida for the little guys.
Yeah.
So yeah, still important, super important. Let's all
absolutely
vote.
Sometimes even more important.
Vote.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. But you guys, everything's gonna be great. Don't worry about seeing bad things.
Yes.
I mean, it's not gonna work like that. People all the time are like, oh, I want a psychic reading, but I'm scared you'll tell me I'll die.
Oh, geez.
How will that serve you? Why would they show me that? This doesn't serve anybody. It doesn't work like that. They might tell you to leave your partner, things like that, which are also heavy-handed.
Yeah.
That's always a bummer to deliver. But every single time I have to tell somebody that, they're like, I know.
Okay.
So it's never out of the blue.
Yeah.
Sorry, though. Sometimes there is tough news. Just because nobody wants to do the work. Work is hard. I understand. But, yeah, get a thing under your pillow. See some future stuff. It's going to be great. 2021 is going to be way better. But drink yourself into 2020. 2020 is all about going to bed drunk. Let's just...
It's true. All right. Thanks for joining us. You can please, you'll find the spell and the recipe in our show notes, and follow
and
us.
Lots more. Yeah, we always elaborate and come up with other things on our social.
Angela, especially, she adds a lot of information that we don't always cover here. And in our social media as well. So Conjure the Cocktail on Instagram, on Facebook. We've got a special group you could join us.
We do. We have a secret group that's suddenly booming, and I'm like, oh God, we got to start posting in there.
I know.
I'll post my horrible secret that I'm not telling here in there.
There you go. Little behind the scenes, a little. Yeah. And here's to the rest of your week. And
to the new moon.
To the new moon.
In Leo.
Yes. And then it's going to be Virgo season. Woo, woo.
Hey, we're all going to be very productive in Virgo season. I can't wait. I just pushed back a major deadline because I was like, oh, it'll be so much better if I do it in Virgo and not Leo. Leo's for dancing and singing and inner child. Virgo is for work. So
Oh,
those deadlines.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, don't drink like a basic witch. And
cheers, witches.
cheers, witches.